Good afternoon, crew. It's Sunday, December 3rd. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. It is a bit windy today, but I got my mic, so hopefully it'll turn out okay. It's probably one of the last nice weather days this year, so I figured I better get outside and start vlogging. So 2 days ago, on December 1st, there was a resupply mission from the Russian Space Agency that failed. They launched their Soyuz rocket, and after the third stage separation, it seems that they lost contact with the module that actually goes to the International Space Station to resupply it. And it seems like there was some sort of failure with the third stage of the rocket. And unfortunately, it seems that it caused a mission failure, and they lost all the cargo and the capsule, and it was not a good situation. This has actually happened to a couple different resupply missions in the last couple years. Luckily, they keep enough supplies on board that if a couple of these missions fail, they can still be safe on the ISS, and they still have enough supplies to get them through. However, this one's a little more scary because this is actually the same type of rocket that brings humans to the International Space Station. I feel like this is probably a good opportunity to talk about some of the resupply contracts that NASA has to both resupply the ISS and also bring astronauts to the ISS. When the Space Shuttle missions ended in 2011, we lost the ability to get supplies to the ISS and also astronauts to the ISS. So NASA had to come up with some ideas on how to reestablish these abilities. The solution for the ISS supplies was the commercial resupply missions. The contract for the original CRS missions was won by SpaceX and Orbital. SpaceX has their own rocket and their own capsule that brings it up to the ISS, and Orbital has their own capsule that's launched on an orbital rocket as well. So right now, the missions of resupplying the ISS is split up among SpaceX, Orbital, Roscosmos, and JAXA, which is the Japanese space agency, and Roscosmos is the Russian space agency. And the failure that just happened 2 days ago was a Russian Roscosmos rocket on its way to the International Space Station with supplies. As I've said, luckily, the astronauts on board the ISS still have plenty of supplies to last them until, even if there was a couple more failures, they would probably still be able to remain up on the ISS safely. There is a Japanese HTV resupply mission on its way shortly, so that's going to bring them back up to speed. So when talking about supplies, the United States has the ability to bring supplies to the ISS. However, the United States has not launched a human rocket since 2011 after the last space shuttle launch. So you might be wondering, how have we been getting our astronauts to the ISS? Well, we've been taking Russian rockets this whole time. Every few months, NASA astronauts get a ride up on a Soyuz rocket with a Russian cosmonaut usually, and maybe a Japanese astronaut. The United States government, and I'm sure NASA as well, decided that it might not necessarily be good to put all their money into a seat on a Russian rocket. So there is movement in place in 2017 and 2018 to start launching US astronauts from our soil again to the ISS. This is called the Commercial Crew. There are two companies that won the Commercial Crew contracts, SpaceX and Boeing. SpaceX is going to have a capsule called Dragon 2 to be specific, that is going to launch on top of their Falcon rocket, Falcon 9, and bring astronauts to the ISS, launching from Cape Canaveral. Boeing is going to have their capsule called CST-100, now it's named Starliner, which is an awesome name by the way. They're going to launch on a ULA Atlas V rocket, which is one of the most reliable rockets ever launched. It's gone through many successful missions, over 100 by now, with very minimal failure rate. The recent failure of the Soyuz resupply mission really proves that we need to have other ways to get to the ISS, and bringing that back to the United States is going to be a good move. Right now, the Soyuz is going to be grounded for a while pending investigation until they figure out exactly what happened and what went wrong and can prove that this will not happen during a manned mission. Then that thing isn't going to be flying. So we need to come up with solutions. Hopefully the commercial crew mission contracts keep going successfully, and a year or less from now we'll have missions launching from US soil to the ISS. In addition to the new commercial crew contracts that are happening, the original resupply mission contracts are going to be ending. So NASA did have another contest for a new resupply mission. This was won by, again, SpaceX and Orbital, but this time Sierra Nevada is in the mix as well. They have a really cool capsule called the Dream Chaser capsule. It looks like a mini shuttle. It's very interesting. It has its benefits, and some people say it has its downfalls as well, but it should be interesting to see how it works for resupply missions.